What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another live stream. Hope everybody's doing good today and having a good Saturday so far. Hey Rick, how's it going? Welcome back to the stream. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Glad to see you back. And thank you for your continued support of the channel. I definitely do appreciate it. Rick is a member of our members only group. And I appreciate all that support, so thank you. I know there's going to be a couple more coming in a little bit later, so we'll be looking forward to those people coming in with plenty of questions to ask. But today felt like a really good day to go live, guys, because there's a little bit to talk about. I kind of let this sit for the last week and a half, and really just let this price action just brew. And what I really wanted to do was be patient and really let the market show its hand so that we could figure out what's going to happen next. One of the things I always talk about, and don't forget guys, if you're an experienced trader, some of this you might not want to hear, but it's still always a good reminder. But if you are a beginner or you don't feel like you're advanced, you should definitely consider this sentiment that I try to, or advice that I try to repeat on each stream, just so that everybody stays in the right mindset. So when there's not good price action to trade, so if there's not a lot of volatility, if things are not looking like it's really convincingly going to go in the direction that you want it to go, and so what I mean by that, if you're a long trader, if the price doesn't look clearly like it's going to go in the upward direction. Oh, mic is low. Okay. Testing. All right, should be a little better. Let me know. But if the price action doesn't look convincingly like it's going to go in the direction that you plan to trade, up if you want to go long, or down if you plan to go short, then you should consider not trading at all and waiting for a good signal. All right? A good buy signal, a good sell signal, whatever kind of trading you're trying to do. If it does not look convincing, don't do anything and consider just not looking at the chart. Take a day, take 2 days, take a week. Whatever amount of time that you feel the need to take that amount of time and do not look at the chart, because the more you stare at it, especially if you look at it on a lower time frame and you see all of this, like this movement right here, you're going to start to emotionally feel like, oh, well, I'm not in. Look at how much movement it's making. If only I had bought here. Oh man, what if it goes up again? I'm missing out. And then that fear of missing out kicks in, and a lot of times you end up doing something that you would not have done if you were just zoomed out more, or if you were just not looking at the chart altogether. Because in the big picture, when I go to the daily chart here, this move here, not so significant. But when we're on that 1 minute time frame, it looked crazy, right? And really all it was this movement from like here to here. So you got to keep things in perspective and stay calm and keep your emotions completely out of the trading game. So I just want to start with that. But let me read a couple more comments and we'll continue. What's going on, Elbosh? Welcome back to another stream. And Arat, good to see you. Skydive, how's it going? Welcome back. Hey, everybody. Thanks for the heads up on the mic and the volume, by the way. Hopefully it's better now. Yeah, long time no see. Glad to see you. I will like to ask, before we go ahead and kind of get into it, what's everybody's positions right now? Are you holding anything? If so, what coins are you holding? Is it Doge? Is it Ethereum? What are you holding? And at what price points? I am curious. And also let me know kind of what you're doing around this time. Are you buying? Are you selling? Are you doing nothing at all? Just let me know in the comments while we continue. So, to get into what I've been doing here, and as you can see in the title, here comes the crypto reversal and why I'm buying. So, I've made it pretty clear over these last few weeks that I had no plans of doing anything at all. And the reason for that is because there was too much bad news coming from all angles, and it seemed like a really, really bad time to buy. Matt's Market, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Hey, Matt, let me know too. What are you doing? What's your plans? And I just asked everybody kind of what they're holding and at what price point. So let me know what you've got too. I am curious to see if you're buying now, if you're holding any Doge, or what's up. Or any other coin for that matter. So I made it pretty clear over the last couple weeks, guys, that I had no intentions of buying until further notice. The reason for that is because there was just too many things against us and it seemed like a really bad time. And what I like to do if at all possible, if I've thinned out my position at a high point, I'm more than happy to get back in and buy a dip. But I want to make sure that that dip point that I buy, there's a couple different things that you can do. You can buy on the way down and dollar cost average, and just drop a little here. If it goes down further, drop a little more in, drop a little more in. Or if you want to play it a little more risky, I guess you could say. It's not always riskier, but it's trying to time the bottom a little bit more. You can wait until you see some clear signs of reversal and then start to buy on the way up. And that's the way that I usually prefer to do it. The reason that I decided to do that in this case was because there was so much bad news. I was concerned that we would keep going down, and I would keep averaging down, and it would just keep going and going and falling and falling and falling and not find support at any reasonable point. And so I didn't want to keep just averaging down every couple cents when it could go down 10 to 15 cents, and then my average isn't that great. So my plan was just wait for the crash to end, look for some support, and buy on the way up. Now, the reasons for the market crashing, there's a couple different reasons. There's all the inflation and all that stuff that's going on. People are just financially getting concerned, and there was a lot of fear that a recession was going to be coming this year. And we were hearing that from a lot of the popular financial gurus that are on YouTube. So meet Kevin, the three I always talk about, Graham, Stefan, and Andre. All three of them were making videos saying all this doom and gloom. And so there's a lot of people that watch them too. And a lot of them, they're retail buyers. We got millions of people that are taking in this information. And so it's going to start to make them feel a certain kind of way as well. And so, whoops, sorry about that. So reason number one, everyone's starting to fear a market crash, a stock market crash, and a recession this year. And a byproduct of that would probably be a crypto market crash, as well, as everybody's just scared to be in any kind of like crypto or stock holding. Another reason was obviously because of the war over in Ukraine. So the war in Ukraine with Russia, everybody panicked as soon as that started to happen. Everyone started to fear for World War III, potentially. And because of that, the fear kicked in, everyone started to sell, and then everyone's like, well, this whole there's multiple reasons that this market's crashing now. I don't think I want to be in at all. And so people started to just sell, and then we sold off really hard. There were a whole lot of liquidations, and then there was just more selling pressure and more liquidations, and it was a snowball effect. Now, when that kind of thing happened, I said, all right, I already sold, and who knows how bad this war is going to get. So until we start getting some positive news, some signs that we're holding, some signs that people are no longer quite as afraid, and some signs that things could be, we could have hit like a bottom of how bad things are going to get, and maybe there's just upside from here, like it can't get any worse or it won't get any worse, and people start to feel that way. So that means that the fear that people are feeling, that starts to subside, and people start to get more confident. Like looking for those kind of signs, that's when I would start to feel more comfortable buying back in. Now, obviously, I would love to just hear Russia and Ukraine made peace, and then at that point, very clear buying signal where I can just jump back in. But instead, well, let me read a couple comments and I'll continue. So, and another thing, guys, by the way, for a very limited time, if you check in the description, the members only Discord group, it's still like a paid thing, but if you want to just get a taste of it, I am allowing people to join for limited time at no cost, but you can only read. So if you want to just get a feel for what's going on in there, you can click the link in the description, join the Discord group, and just kind of read what the guys are talking about, and you'll get more notifications from me when I'm going live and what my thoughts are, kind of like I post on Twitter, just no like direct interaction. But I still think it's better than nothing, so feel free if you like to check it out. We have a pretty good time in there. And that's usually, when there's not a whole lot of market movement going on to where I feel like I need to go live and have a stream. That's kind of where I'm sharing my thoughts in between. So it's a pretty good place to be. Mia says, Doge buying and holding, not planning on selling anytime soon. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Holding and doing nothing at all. Cool. Yeah, I know you had a bit, not like a high average, but I know you were holding kind of on the way down. So good stuff. Matt says, Rick got me to FOMO into Jasmine. Yeah, I saw your stream. What was that, last night? Talking about Jasmine. I did pop in for a couple seconds, but I think I was pretty tired, so I didn't stick around too long, and say anything. But cool. How's that going, by the way? Jasmine, is that taking off? Rick says Doge at 11, Shib at 2.4. Wow, that's pretty good. Still have Bitcoin, ETH, ADA 89, Poly 76. You've got some nice averages. When this market recovers, Rick is going to be in a great position. That's awesome. Mnet 0101. Nice. Nice. Good stuff, guys. But here's a couple things I wanted to share. So if you just take a look at Bitcoin's price action here, you can see we're coming down from all-time highs, that this was potentially forming a head and shoulders, and whether you want to say it did or didn't, I mean, it looks pretty close. I think close enough for people to feel like, hey, maybe this is a head and shoulders. And then with bad news on top of that, we did see a continuation sell-off. And we had a perfect hit at this first area of support here, off of that head and shoulders here. Sold off right back down to here. Good stuff. And now we're starting to see what looks like a bit of a double bottom here. But the technicals are really not anything that I particularly care about. But I am just going to show what I'm talking about here. So 1, 2, and we're now seeing some consolidation. Another double bottom in between right here. And it looks like we kind of want to move up. All right, that's just from a technical perspective, but I'm not going to focus on that. It doesn't matter too much. What's going on, Alex? Glad to see you. Welcome to the chat. And thanks for your continued support of the group as well. I do appreciate that. And so basically, guys, what this shows was that on the crash, on bad news, on the war news, we crashed and sold off pretty hard. And we hit a bottom. If you look right here, this is the daily chart, by the way, so a lot of this is just summed up. This massive rejection wick. I mean, this was a panic sell-off, liquidations and everything. And we hit a point and we shot all the way back up. And we did not close the day at 32,000. Instead, we ended up closing the day back up here at about 36. So you can see this indicated to people, all right, maybe this was an overreaction. Maybe we oversold. Maybe we did too much. And maybe this was the bottom. Like people panic sold, but it doesn't look like we're coming back down there. Right here. And that was just off the initial news and the initial fear that everybody was feeling when the announcement was kind of made public that there was a war going on. So this was maximum panic. In one of, I think it was it Andre Jick's videos? I can't remember if it was his or Kevin's, but they did some, I think it was me, Kevin, actually. They did some research historically on what ends up happening with, historically in the market when there is a war. So historically, if you look back at World War II, World War I, and all the other wars that go on around the country, when panic kicks in and there's a market sell-off, what has typically been like the absolute lowest point? And historically, that lowest point was the first initial sell-off. And after that initial sell-off, that initial low, historically, it has not gone back up and then come down and fell further down than that. Because that initial sell-off was peak panic. And then after that, there was just recovery. So we might have seen a couple bounces, but this would have been the lowest point. And that's just looking at historical data. And so I was a little skeptical, but I mean, that's good news to know. So far, this is playing out the same way. So you can see we hit 33,000 here, but we did not at any point after that come back down under 33,000 again. So far that's playing out. So that's good thing number one. And that could indicate that this area right here is probably the lowest dip, unless it turns into like, global war and we start hearing about like nukes coming out or something like that, that this was most likely the bottom area. And you won't be able to buy a dip anything lower than this, based off what's going on with the war, at least historically, if we're going to respect that data. On top of that, what we started to see a lot of fluctuation. So, over sell off, people like, all right, that was an over sell off. And then more panic as day 2, day 3, day 4 kicked in. There was a lot of rumors that, okay, now Russia's not just stopping at the cities they said they were going to invade. Now they're going for the capital. Now they're trying to kill and capture the president. And, things just got worse and worse. So round 2 of panic kicked in and we made a run back to near that initial dip. All right. And then after that, we start to recover again. And now people are just starting, and this is not to lighten the severity of the situation going on overseas and over in those countries, but honestly, people are starting to get used to the fact that there's a war going on. Panic is starting to subside. People have already panicked. They've gotten that out of their system. They've already freaked out, right? They've already done their panic selling and everything. So now, since the news is no longer getting worse and worse and worse and worse, significantly worse every day, people are just starting to get used to this current stage. And so now we're starting to see just stabilizing of the market here. And that kind of gears us up for what's to happen next. All right. And right around here, a couple days ago, if you were in the Discord group, I started letting everybody know, hey guys, I'm starting to feel like we're nearing that entry point I was talking about, where you want to start looking for a buying opportunity as people start to get more confident and start to feel a little more positive about the situations. That's going to be the buy signal. All right. And I indicated that, let me see. Yeah, this is when I was still a little bearish, and then we were coming into, I would actually like to see. Yep. There was a little bit of a FOMO buy opportunity there, but okay, on the 16th, I just let everybody know, I'm considering a re-entry very soon. Seems like market fear is beginning to taper off due to time and things not getting worse. So time having passed where it's just been a lot of the same, no brand new news that's making people freak out, and it's just war as usual day after day. This means that we may have already hit the peak maximum fear point where everybody has done all their selling off, and we can start to see markets recover as people start to feel more comfortable. With the only risk being that if there's significantly worse news, then we might see another sell-off. But as time goes on and things start to stabilize and, and at this point still no nukes have come out or anything crazy, the possibility of things going to that extreme gets less and less likely day after day. And so I'm expecting to see kind of like one of those go on. And sure enough, look at what's happening right here. That same basic scenario. Whoops, that's not the indicator I want. Right about here, you're starting to see this. We hit a peak here, and people are starting to get more comfortable. Little test of the waters right here. As people got a little excited to see that first round of positivity, and then we sold off a little bit more as people took profit that were still a little panicked, and now it's starting to turn into the double bottom. After that panic sell-off here, or that taking profit, we found support at that same level again, and now we're taking another stab at it. And so now there's a high possibility that as long as we don't get worse news and things continue to be business as usual day after day, and if there's any positive signs as well to assist with this, we will most likely start heading back up towards 50,000 on Bitcoin. And my first real signal that we could be in a potential bullish scenario was breaking 42K, because we were stuck under that for a while. If you just hover your mouse here, you can see there was some strong resistance right here at about 40 and a half. And then again, right here, lots of support and resistance at about 41 towards 42. And we just broke 42. And if we hover at where the price is right now, you can see right about here at 42.6 is probably the last level that most people are looking at, right at the tip of this wick. So if we break above that, people will get a little more bullish, and then we've got to break. Let me just zoom out to confirm this level. Then we've really got to break above 46K here in order to feel confident that we're going pretty far up. But we've got double bottom here, and in the middle, double bottom here. Lots of potential bullish reversal signs. All right, so there's that. Matt says, hey, if you're not busy later, you're welcome to come on the show. Hey, I appreciate that. I'll see what I'm doing later. I'll hit you up. I might be free for that. That would be pretty fun. Appreciate the invite. Looking for Artful. He's usually in here. That's why I didn't go live last night. I know he's overseas in a different time zone, so I was trying to get some of my people that 7 p.m. is too late for them Eastern time in this stream. Yeah, what time's the show, Matt? John says, hello, thanks for the stream. Heard rumors about the European Union banning crypto. Have you heard anything? Let's actually touch on that in a moment. So let me open up another tab so I don't forget, because that's a good point. And the answer to that is yes. I do have some info on that. All right. Let's see. Okay. So, just to kind of conclude this thought process, guys. So the recent information on Russia and Ukraine, I mean, it's been just a lot more of the same, and people again are just starting to get used to the bad news, and for that reason, they're no longer like that. Selling pressure is reduced. The panic is not getting worse and worse every day. It's kind of reached its peak. It's plateaued. So from this point, we can expect, as long as things don't get significantly worse, equal level trading or trading back to the upside as people start to reassume positions, especially those that completely sold, like myself. And so for that reason, as of yesterday and the day before, I scaled in very small, just like I said I would. But yesterday, I really started to see, Dogecoin and ADA and some of these other alts also start to pick up the pace, because they're usually the last ones to do it. And so last night at 8 o'clock, 8:30, just let everybody know, I placed a small buy. But if we start to look very weak again, I'll sell. But I'm noticing that Doge is going, even though Bitcoin's starting to sit still. And, the altcoins are starting to catch up. So that's why it's good to be in the Discord group, because I kind of mentioned those things ahead of time. You don't have to really wait for the stream. But sure enough, if we take a look at Dogecoin, Dogecoin at that point yesterday, let's go to the 30-minute chart. When I started to say that, Dogecoin was here. So I sent that message when Dogecoin was right here. And I went to, actually it was somewhere around here. And then I ended up buying, I believe, right around here before I went to sleep. And then we saw a break above, and this was good. We broke above 12, but then we sold back off. But I just had a feeling, because before I ended up falling asleep, I saw that we were holding still at right about 11.9, and Bitcoin was still hovering at near that 42,000 resistance without completely rejecting back towards low 41s. And so I said, you know what? Overnight, we might see some buying pressure. So I'm just going to hold on to this, and I'm not going to sell it, and I'll see what happens when I wake up. And I woke up to Dogecoin being, it was at 12:45 as soon as I checked my phone. So I woke up and it was right here. So that was awesome. But that's where that patience starts to play off. If you're trying to like micromanage your positions. If not, obviously just buy the dip and hold it and wait. But I like, for fun, trading on leverage, even though it's risky and kind of dumb. So that means that when I'm giving buy or sell signals, they are very, very specific, because I don't have as much leeway to just average down. Eventually, I'm going to get liquidated. So that means, since I'm trading on leverage, that I'm looking for a really solid sign that when I buy, we are not just going to go back down. Like, we're going to continue up so that we get away from my average, because I don't want to get liquidated, right? So usually my buy signals are going to be pretty well thought out, even if they're a little late, right? Even if they're not 11.5, or even if it's not on the way down at 11, it might be 11.9, but now we're in the clear. So that's the way that I've been trading. A little bit of news here. So with the Russian ceasefire discussions, we've been hearing a lot about Russia potentially making peace, Russia and Ukraine come into an agreement. Now we know that Zelensky and the Ukrainians, they have no interest in continuing this war. That being said, I mean, they are putting up quite a fight. They've given the civilians arms so that they could also stay and fight if they want. But that being, and they've been putting up a strong fight because Russia's having difficulty. And now apparently Russia's asking China for assistance, military weapon assistance. But then the U.S. kind of said, hey, China, don't do that, or we're going to make you, just like we're making Russia financially suffer, we'll make you suffer. So just lots of odd threats. But anyway, at this point, Russia's having difficulty really getting to where they want to get without using the next level of weapons, which is a little scary. Hopefully they just don't go there. But there have been lots of talks about Russia and Ukraine making peace and agreeing to a ceasefire that would just basically a truce and come to a deal. They've been having these talks about temporary ceasefires to let people exit the country. The first one failed, and the second one failed, and the third one was very brief, but it was a success. And they were able to evacuate a lot of citizens, but still at this point, the war is still going on. But basically, the news at this point is there are still opportunities for peace discussions, but it's probably going to be a couple weeks before any discussions actually had and any agreement would be potentially made. And it really just depends on when Putin will say, okay, I've had enough, or, what his ego will allow him to do. And we'll just have to see how that plays out. That being said, even though I'm telling you guys that I bought in, like I said, that's based off of the fact that it does not seem like it's going to get worse at this point, and I know people are going to be feeling that way now, and so I'm riding that positive emotion wave and assuming a position and riding it up. All right, if things get worse over the next couple weeks, if they have a peace discussion and then they say, you know what, no, at some point we probably will see a pullback. I don't necessarily think we're going to go to new lows, like under 11 again, or under 10, really, but we could see these prices again next week or in the next couple weeks if things start to get bad. But if not, I think we're going to start to see 13, 14, 15 cents Doge and above that, honestly. And we might be back to 17 cents and higher pretty soon, because despite the war, despite inflation, and despite recession discussions, there's been a lot of positive things going on behind the scenes in the crypto space. Ukraine, for example, looking to fully legalize, or was it Ukraine? I think it was Ukraine, the use of crypto. Russia starting to rely on cryptocurrency as well due to the sanctions and the depreciation of their ruble is their currency. All these countries and companies and everything really starting to take advantage of crypto. That is great for crypto investors. So aside from all this stuff that's making people panic, once the panic goes away, all the other stuff that's being hidden right now is extremely positive. So we could see a massive run once all this stuff is done. So that's one thing. Should be 9 Eastern. Okay, cool. Let's see. I heard something's going on March 24th. Do I know what that is? Oh, March 24th. Oh, I heard that date too, but I can't remember what that was. Let's see. It was something. March 24th. Not sure. I can't remember, and Twitter's not helping me out very much. I'm not too sure. But if I can remember, I will definitely let you know. So that's the news with the Russian ceasefire. Still a work in progress. Still no new news there yet. Still kind of getting put off. But like I said, each day's just been a lot more of the same, unfortunately. But it's not getting worse. And now markets are starting to say, okay, if we're not going to get worse, we were oversold, so let's start to buy these dips. Let's start to take advantage of these sales, since we're no longer scared of being in the market and things just absolutely plummeting. Aside from that, if you were long on oil, now's probably around a good time to start flipping to short. If you haven't already, that's probably be a big play. Gas prices are starting to go back down, and that means that oil prices are also, for that reason, obviously starting to go back down. And so that's good, but that means that the oil market will start to normalize again. I already discussed about China and Russia. We'll see what ends up happening. I think if China does assist Russia with weapons, that things could get worse. But honestly, the financial risk with the threat of sanctions from Biden and we know that, we have so many products that are made in China. It'll be a massive financial hit to China if they were to do that. So that would be a massive trade-off. I don't think they're going to do it. So I think we're good there. And that's pretty much it about Russia and Ukraine, guys. That's why I have assumed a buying position. And I will be adding to it if we start heading to my next real target, which is like 13 cents. If we're holding at 13, if we're Bitcoin 43, 44, 45, 46 and looking strong, I am going to add and start scaling back towards like 50 to 75%. And obviously once the war's over and there's no more reasons to be afraid, I'll feel much more confident going 100% in. But like I said, on margin, you got to be really careful with that. So every tip that I'm giving is like calculated. There is no YOLOing or FOMO buying or emotional trading here. If you do that when you trade on margin, you're going to go broke very fast. So anyway, Robinhood Wallets, guys. So now that we've talked about the negative, let's talk about some of the more positive and why crypto, aside from the war, like once that clears up, will probably go up very quickly. We've got Robinhood Wallets. We've got all the Dogecoin updates that are coming. We've got ETH2 getting much closer, and Bitcoin, just everybody. I mean, there's a new song, actually. Not recommending that anyone listen to it per se, but now rappers are like starting to get super into crypto, and music artists, and they're singing and rapping about crypto. As funny as that is, there was this new song by Quavo and some other people, and it's called Crypto, and they just rapped about everything else they usually rap about, and then they rapped about in my crypto. So it's becoming mainstream and it's catching on, which is good to see that everybody, your parents, music artists, celebrities, companies, countries, they're starting to understand that crypto is the next move, and we're going to start to see first regulations, which might make the market a little shaky as people are like, okay, well, are you going to ban it? Are you going to accept it? But it's going to make the space safer at the end of the day. And then we're going to start to see institutional money start pouring in. And I think we're going to really see cryptocurrency surge. Dogecoin triple, quadruple what it is now as a result. Bitcoin over 100, 200,000. Ethereum way up there. ADA, as long as it can get its stuff together, way up there. So yeah, we're trying to time little bottoms here, but big picture, come back next year, I think we'll be in a crazy good spot. Now, as far as the ban from Europe, the EU, on cryptocurrency, they did have a vote on that, and there was a lot of FUD that started getting spread regarding that, because that would have been pretty big, but they ended up deciding against the crypto ban over there. So that is not going to be happening. The European Union did not ban crypto. They decided against, and who knows, they may revisit in the future. But I think at this point in time, most people are starting to understand banning is not the right move. Embracing, just like a lot of the other big countries are, is probably the better move. So there's that. And then finally, Robinhood Wallets. I'm not yet on. I'm on the wait list, but I have not been accepted quite yet. But I do think I'm getting close. I saw someone on Twitter say they were like 380,000 on the wait list, and they got accepted about 3 days ago. And I'm at about 500,000. And that means that this week or next week, wait a minute. Okay, this week, next week, the week after, I think it'll be my turn. And I'm really anxious to try it out and see what it's like. I've always talked about how I think this is going to be a big catalyst for crypto. A lot of retail investors that are not interested in frequent trading, scalping, and trading with a lot of commission fees, they look to things to Robinhood specifically because it's better than Webull, honestly, for crypto trading at low fees and good prices. They are probably using Robinhood for Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and maybe some of their Ethereum as well. So the fact that we're unlocking these coins and giving people the ability to have their crypto, to offload it to an external wallet, to put it onto another trading platform and stake it and do other things versus just sell it, that's going to reduce a lot of selling pressure and let cryptocurrency breathe for a bit. On good news, we might see prices run up and not just sell off, but run up and people hold on to it and just say, cool, now my Dogecoin's worth more. Because now, instead of having $500 in Dogecoin. I've got $1,000 in Dogecoin. So maybe I'm going to buy something that's $750 worth of Dogecoin and just make use of the profit instead of just selling it to cash it out for USD and increasing buying pressure. Just circulate it. So that's pretty big news. The Dogecoin millionaire, don't ban, understand. Exactly. People, they freak out and they're like, oh, what is this? This crypto we can't quite track? Or this currency we can't quite track? What if people do illegal stuff with it? Ban it. And we even saw our government kind of do that for a minute when they almost completely screwed over the miners and the validators with that infrastructure bill. That same thing. But now it's understand it and how can we use this to our advantage. John says, I can't seem to find any update on the Doge One launch. Have I heard anything? Oh, is that what March 24th was? I know Crypto Kyle from Twitter had said something about that. Let me see. I think it's June 1st from what I'm seeing. It should be right around that time. Unless I'm seeing inaccurate information, should be around June 1. But I will try and get some more confirmation of that before I really say that as a fact. But it's looking like around that time. And two other things. So I keep forgetting to mention this every time I go live, but I do want to help other people out. So I'll put a link in the description. But let's see. My buddy Crypto Kyle over on Twitter, he's a big fan of Dogecoin and crypto in general. But let me see. Here you go. Big fan of Doge and crypto in general, but specifically Dogecoin, and he's been trying to help a lot in the Dogecoin community with services and products that could potentially help people that love Dogecoin have easier access to it and spending it. And I won't say too much about that. I'll let him kind of announce all that stuff. But he has opened a store that has like shirts, sweatshirts, shorts, stickers, hats, socks, like Dogecoin themed apparel. The website's Doge SC for Space Colony, dogesc.com. And if you use the promo code, which is going to be to the moon in all caps, you can get 15% off. So feel free to check that out if you want to go ahead and take a look at it and help him out, right? We all want to help out the community, especially when they mean well. So dogesc.com, links in the description, promo code to the moon with no spaces for 15% off of whatever order. And I don't get any of that, by the way. It's just to help them out. So check it out. Any other questions, guys, before we kind of wrap up? Thank you guys for all the likes. I do appreciate it. But yeah, any other questions, feel free to ask. Oh yeah, but Robinhood Wallets. I'm excited to get to try that. I should be coming up soon. Here we can see Dogecoin starting to take off here again. It's heading to 12.43. Pretty happy to see that. And I would love to see some stronger movement and moving towards 13 and breaking that. A lot of times what we see, and this is really funny, guys, there's a lot of hate regarding Dogecoin and other alts right now. And all the bears start to come out. Usually a lot of those people, those negative Nancy's, are the people that are coming out that got burned, that traded improperly, that bought high, didn't sell, rode the wave down and sold low, and now they're like anti that cryptocurrency. And a lot of times they're also bad traders that are just mad and they're jealous of other people's success. But then once they start to see these coins start going back up again, and they don't have a good reason to keep talking junk about that cryptocurrency that hurt them, they a lot of times join in. And so I think that's what we're going to start to see. A lot of negative talk was happening as Dogecoin was on its way here. People are saying, oh, it's never going to hit 12 again. It's never going to hit 15. And here we are on our way back to 13 and then on our way to 15 again. And a lot of the comments have started to subside. And I think by the time we hit 13, 14, 15, we're going to start to see a pickup of momentum as a lot of FOMO buys kick in and a lot of people that were on the negative bearish side start FOMOing in as well. So I think that will happen. And then finally, the Dogecoin millionaire Pro the Doge did make a video on Robinhood Wallets that I thought was interesting. And he was basically saying, you know, why I hate Robinhood Wallets. And he gave this explanation of why he thinks it's bad. But to me, it makes a whole lot of sense. Obviously, it's bad if you've got a whole lot of Doge. But the thing with Robinhood Wallets, apparently, they have decided to put a limit on how much cryptocurrency you can move in a 24-hour period. I was wondering how they were going to do this before, because my whole reason initially I thought Robinhood was not going to bring wallets on board was because so many people were anti-Robinhood based off all the shady stuff they had done, with cutting off buying and selling at different points. You know, you couldn't sell when Dogecoin was at its peak. You couldn't buy when it was hitting its low. A lot of people basically said, well, if I can ever get my crypto off of Robinhood, and the reason they didn't want to sell was because capital gains. So like, if I could just move it, I'm off Robinhood for good. And honestly, that's the same thing that the Dogecoin millionaire said. His plan was, okay, we have wallets. Let me see if I can get all of my Dogecoin, all my, how much does he have? 1 million or something like that? All my 4 million Dogecoin completely off of Robinhood. And he could not. And this makes a lot of sense. So what they've done is they've limited the amount of crypto that you can move and the amount of transactions that you can do in a 24-hour period. So it was $3,000 worth of crypto, or up to 10 total transfers per day. But it looks like they've updated that to 5,000. So now the limit is you can spend or send to another wallet or to another person, whatever, up to $5,000 worth of crypto per day. That is the limit per 24 hours. If you want to do more than that, you're going to have to wait another 24 hours and then do another transaction, or 10 transfers per day of whatever amount. That's the limit. And that's about it. I mean, in my opinion, that's good because for one, it's going to prevent if someone hacks your account and decides that they want to send all of your cryptocurrency to their wallet, it's going to limit the amount of crypto per day that they can actually do that. So they're not going to be able to steal more than $5,000 worth of crypto per day. If you have 10, 15, 20,000, 100,000, you're going to feel a little safer with that limit in place. Also, most people are not spending over, $5,000 per day, just in general, unless you're rich. Like, who does that? So that's another good thing. The only bad thing about this is you're not going to be able to buy a Tesla in cash in full using Robinhood Wallets, because there's no Tesla that's $5,000. So that part's a little bit of a hindrance, but other than that, unless you're trying to buy a car or a house or something crazy in full, I think that's perfectly fine, the little limitation they have there. I don't have a complaint about it, but I can see if you have 100,000 or $1 million worth of crypto, you want to offload it or make a big send, that could be pretty frustrating. And the only other downside I've seen so far about Robinhood Wallets was certain transaction times. It looks like a couple people were waiting upwards of 20 hours for an Ethereum sending transaction to go through. I saw 24 hours from someone, another person said 26, and another said 28. So 28 hours for your ETH to leave the Robinhood wallet and hit the Coinbase or whatever other wallet you were sending it to, that's a bit rough. My thought process would be Robinhood trying to keep gas fees low so that it's more accessible to the average person, and also so that they don't have to pay quite as much themselves, they probably took the slowest possible transaction sequence that they could have found, and tried to do that transaction on off of peak hours and put it into the back of the queue so that there were no excessive gas fees paid to prioritize the transaction. That's my guess, but I hope that they don't keep doing that, because that could be a problem. That being said, here's another benefit of using Dogecoin. You don't have to worry about the gas fees. You don't have to worry about the backups, peak hours where everybody's using the network, and congestion. Dogecoin does not have any of those issues, which makes it even more viable as a good currency to move around and just exchange as a currency. So glad to see that. Anyway, guys, that's about going to wrap it up. Again, keep your eyes on this price action here. I am looking to add more closer to this area here, looking for support above 13. If not, I'm pretty comfortable being in just a little bit at right under 12 or at 12 flat, and just waiting to see if we can break this next cent, if I can lock in some profit and be stable at this point, and then maybe buy some more if we look like we're going to head up to the next big resistance. But other than that, I still don't want to add too much here, because there's still a chance, because this war is not over and we haven't gotten the full confirmation that things are not going to get worse, and people could have another wave of fear hit them, right? So there could be a situation where, oh, things are getting worse. Oh, there's no ceasefire. There won't be peace. The president got killed, whatever. And then we see another sell-off back down to these prices here, in which case I'd like to buy some more here. So I'm just going to play it safe. Thank you. Let the force be with us. Yes, let the force be with us all. All right, guys. Appreciate all the support. Check out the links in the description. Like I said earlier, temporarily you can join the Discord group for free with read-only permissions, which means you can't type and ask questions and all that. But if you want to see the updates and when I go live and all that, go ahead, click the link, and I'll see you guys there. Other than that, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, check out Crypto Kyle's website, and I will see you guys in the next stream. Thanks, guys.